Howdy there, Isaac here. It's been quite a while since we last visited the universe where the big bad Bugman survived. After the last few parts, things have been pretty intense, and while I can't promise no fighting, I'm happy this part has some more relaxing qualities. The Bugman certainly deserves it, and I know some of the listeners do too. Now, without further ado, let's see what may have happened if the super perfect android known as Cell survived. While Cell and Gohan were off fighting from the last part, the various fighters on Earth were deciding what to do, namely the crew Cell had gathered. Everyone couldn't deny that Earth was an interesting planet, but they weren't the type to stay on a planet for very long, so Zangia, Pui Pui, and Finn all knew they wanted to leave. Boo, on the other hand, was very conflicted. Part of him still wanted to fight strong guys, and he knew there were plenty of those on Earth, but he also disliked the way everyone looked at him. While they tolerated the genie, aside from Soma and Hercule, the others watched his every move. While he wanted to stay and be friends with Hercule, Boo felt he didn't belong on Earth. With a big hug and a slightly tearful goodbye, Boo flew off into space, though he promised to visit every so often. The other black sheep, Kogu, had watched this exchange and decided he too needed to leave Earth. He wanted to go without saying a word, but Zangia stopped him with a few psycho threads. "Oh no, you're not getting away that easily." Kogu prepared to be attacked, but Zangia flew in and put a hand on his shoulder. "We can't ever be the Galactic Pirates again, but I'm glad you're here. I wish Beto and Bujin had seen the light as well." "They did. We always had. The only reason I'm still here is because I wanted to survive. No virtue or honor. I was simply lucky. But thank you." Kogu broke out of the threads and began to fly off, but Zangia wasn't worried. She knew he wouldn't be causing any more trouble. The others then simply mingled and talked, with May playing with Trunks and Goten, the former still having a slight grudge against the girl, but it was now more of a rivalry than anything else. Vegeta was busy watching the fight along with Pui Pui, the two bonding over their pasts as warriors. Goku was also busy watching the fight from Otherworld, though he was distracted once Yema mentioned to Shin that he was unable to pull one soul back to Hiffle. It was some Earth scientist, and while he shouldn't be able to cause too much trouble, they should still locate him quickly. Other than that, everything had turned out alright, and once Cell finished his fight with Gohan, he was ready to leave Earth. But there was one problem with this. May didn't want to. While she loved being with Cell and his crew, she was born on Earth and had made plenty of friends her age there. The Bugman then asked Soma what he wanted to do, and while he liked Earth, he wanted to study the animals and plants out in space. Cell sighed and leaned over, getting onto his daughter's level. "Fine, you can stay on Earth, but keep your training up. We need you to be nice and strong just in case. Besides, we'll still do a little sparring now and then, right?" May giggled and promised to stay strong. Cell then ushered everyone into the ship, but Soma stopped before entering it.
Father, I was thinking maybe I could explore on my own. It might be harsh, but after everything that happened, I think I need some time to myself."
Soma looked down, fidgeting with his hands, expecting a hard no, but Cell surprised him. "Well, of course. If you want to be your own man, go ahead. But the same goes to you. Keep up that training. I won't drop in if you don't want me to, but visit once a month, or week, or day, whatever you're fine with." Soma thanked his father for understanding before giving his sister a big hug and flying off into space. Cell then also said his goodbyes, along with his crew, Zangia and 18 especially promising to see each other someday. Everything was happy and hunky-dory until they were in the stratosphere. That's when Cell hugged Zangia and began to cry, with the Heron tearing up herself, thinking about how grown the kids had gotten in just 1 year. After a good cry, though, Cell also admitted that he felt proud of his children for being so independent and knows they'll be just fine. For now, the crew would focus on traveling the universe and helping those in need, or fighting strong guys, whichever came first, honestly. And so time flies by, with Cell and his crew going around the universe and meeting some rather interesting people, including some weird blue guys who like to dance. The Bugman enjoyed running around and helping out planets that had been devastated by the Frieza Force, although he always made time to teleport over to his children. Cell and May met at least once a week, the two usually sparring, although they occasionally went out for ice cream or played at the nearby playground. The young lass had been offered a room at Capsule Corp, which she eagerly accepted due to the gravity chamber and proximity to Trunks and Goten. As for Soma, well, he and Cell met up at least once a month, and their relationship was fine, but the two still had a hard time bonding. In the past 6 months, Soma was offered to be trained by Shin as well as Goku, who often trained there as well. And, well, let's just say the job of the Kais was perfect for the android. He loved watching over and learning all about the planets of the universe, as well as the ability to create and somewhat guide life forms. All in all, Soma took to being a Kai and training very well, though he was still working on not interfering with mortals. While Cell certainly commended his son for attaining such an honorable position, he still felt Soma was wasting his massive power and potential on something so easy. But still, the Bugman tried to be happy for his son and always listened whenever he told a story about his training as a Kai. However, there was one common denominator between the two, a certain person who they had both been watching. Soma and the Kais had kept a very keen eye on Boo, and while Cell hadn't been watching him per se, he did drop in every now and then. The bubblegum monster had taken up residence on planet Mogina, with a race of savage Stone Age creatures. The Moginians had initially attacked and fought Boo in a battle that actually lasted nearly a month due to just how many warriors there were. While the genie had considered turning them all into candy, there was something interesting about these creatures, especially their leader, Chief Provolo, who could transform and actually posed a small threat to Boo. If you guys don't know, these guys appear in episode 2 of Super, and I think they're pretty cool. Anyways, due to their rather tribal civilization, once Boo beat every single one of them, they began worshipping him, something the genie quite enjoyed. Boo, in only a few months, managed to teach the Moginians how to build houses and castles, along with small factories for candy. He also personally taught Chief Bravolo and a few of the strongest warriors how to use ki, just so they could hunt dinosaurs and train with him better. While the Moginians initially disliked these changes, Boo proved to be a pretty fair and, to them, smart leader. Within only 6 months, their civilization progressed into the Industrial Age, and even had a strong authoritarian government led by Chief Provolo. Crime was non existent, the dinosaurs were kept at bay by the warriors, and candy was free for anyone who wanted it, something the kids loved. Truly, Boo had created a paradise, though he only cared about the candy and fighting. But this did make him slightly mature a little, something that we might see more of later on. However, for as great as this planet had become, it wouldn't stop Beerus from visiting it in search of that juicy dinosaur meat. God, I should never say that again. Whis confronts Chief Provolo, requesting his latest hunt in order to feed it to Beerus, with the chief actually able to speak common, being quite formal compared to his canon counterpart. The Moginian offers a portion of the dinosaur to Whis, but the angel wants the whole thing. The two argue about the dino meat, with the chief about to fight off the angel, but this is when Boo steps in.
Your key. It feels weird, like the Kai's. Who are you?
You can sense my key. How peculiar. You're not one of the Moginians. Are you the reason they progressed so much since Lord Beerus last saw them? Whis examined the genie, who was also sizing up the angel. However, just as he was about to ask for a fight, Soma suddenly teleported in.
Oh, Lord Beerus, I apologize for them being so rude. Please take this dinosaur and tell Lord Beerus to enjoy it. You should also try their candy. I hear it's pretty good as well.
Boo was confused as to how Soma could teleport, or possibly know who this even is, but the android said he'll explain later, but just to bow. It's at this point that Beerus reveals himself, being pleased that at least someone on this planet knows their place. Once the purple cat tries their candy, he's actually quite happy, putting him in the mood to spare Boo and the Moginians, something the former is very happy about. With that, Beerus and Whis leave with the dinosaur and a small baggie of candy. Shin then also teleports in, berating Soma for interfering, which causes Boo to get angry, demanding the two Kai explain what the heck just happened. The android explains who Beerus is and what he'd do if he were displeased, also that he's searching for some Super Saiyan god or something. Now this gets Boo's attention, getting him fired up to face a strong opponent once more. Soma tries to persuade Boo to give up, to just let Beerus do his thing, but the genie simply puts two fingers to his forehead and teleports back to Earth, right in the middle of a birthday party for Bulma. While Goku gets his butt kicked on King Kai's planet, Boo enjoys some pudding and talks to Hercule, along with Vegeta, the two sensing each other's powers since they last fought. Once the two are done having a stare-off, Boo pulls Vegeta to the side and asks about the Super Saiyan God, then about Beerus, which shakes the Saiyan to the core. Things proceed as per usual, with Boo taking a back seat and observing Vegeta simping for the purple cat. Luckily, there's still pudding left, and Boo is willing to share it if it means he can observe on for a little longer. With great food and even greater entertainment, Beerus isn't in such a sour mood, though he hasn't forgotten his reason for traveling to Earth. The God of Destruction gives Vegeta 5 minutes to figure out who the Super Saiyan God is, or how to create one. Boo, realizing Hercule would be destroyed, and that not only he, but even Dende have God Ki, decides to consult the Namekian about this. Dende agrees that Beerus has God Ki, and he vaguely remembers talk about gods from old legends Guru told, but doesn't quite get what Boo is getting at. However, the bubblegum monster got exactly what he needed from the Guardian. He teleports to New Namek, finds out about and steals the Namekian Book of Legends, then teleports back to Earth and reads it aloud for the cat and Vegeta. Now, they have a bit of a problem. There's only 4 Saiyans since Goku was never revived. That is until Mei speaks up. She says she could at least try doing the ritual, and another new arrival offers to be their 6th Saiyan, that being Cell himself. Everyone is surprised to see him here, but he explains that pretty well. Well, after sensing Boo here, and Vegeta's anxiety-filled ki rising, I figured checking up on Earth would be a good idea. I see we've gone from a demon to a god. How oddly fitting. While there's some deliberation on who should get the power, Cell decides it should be Vegeta. He's a full-blooded Saiyan and is stronger than Gohan at this point, so he's their best bet. The prince is turned into the first Super Saiyan God, and his fight goes about as you would expect. He isn't able to beat Beerus, but does impress him. Vegeta is offered the chance to train with Beerus, as well as Cell, who, while not a full Saiyan, did get the attention of Whis. The Bugman is interested in the idea and says he'll train on occasion, but that time with his kids comes first. But there's someone else who wishes to train with Beerus, and that's Boo. While he enjoyed the past 6 months on Mogina, he's kinda grown bored of ruling over them. Sure, they're strong, but not as strong as the Saiyans, and definitely not Beerus. The bubblegum monster wants to grow stronger and challenge himself like Cell and Vegeta, so he'll step up and train with the cat. Beerus initially dismisses Boo, but Whis can sense a pretty decent amount of God Ki from the genie, and convinces the god to reconsider. Once Beerus senses said Ki, and finds out Boo can create candy and other foods, he accepts the offer, though tries not to act too excited about the foods he'll eat. But for as happy an ending as this seems, another evil lurks in the shadows. As everyone was watching Beerus and Vegeta fight, they were unable to sense the tiny, insect like drones gathering DNA from them. A certain Earth based scientist is making its moves, having learned that magic and gods do, indeed, exist. But he's unmoved in his goals. He'll use what he's learned and apply science to understand it. But to improve his technology, he looks to the stars. The good doctor leaves his supercomputer to gather data on the Earth while he leaves on his spaceship, planning the next steps of his revenge on his once perfect creation. But that's where we'll be leaving it off for right now. If you enjoyed this part, I'd appreciate it if you keep blasting that like button, or maybe even use the God ritual on that subscribe button. Thank you guys once again for 400 subs. I really appreciate it. And I think at the time of recording we have like 412, which, yeah, hey, it's not like 400 to 500, but that's still a surprising amount of growth. I really appreciate it and can't wait for that 500 mark so I can get some really awesome projects started. Such as, like, there's one I want to do with Commander Blue because I love psionics in XCOM 2, and I feel like you could probably use that with General Blue, even though in, like, canon he's actually pretty creepy, but he seems pretty cool too, like, design-wise. Anyways, I have that and a few other what ifs that we might be able to do if you guys choose it. So, yeah, once we get there, I'll definitely put up a poll and see what you guys want to do. Aside from that, I know this video was short, but I've been super busy lately. Hopefully you guys still enjoyed it. Anyways, that'll be it for now. Have a good day or night wherever you are. That's it for now. Bye bye.